Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second part of my Doctor Who reviews. Of my review of the Web Planet. My opinion of it has significantly gone down. But before I explain why, I just want to say, it's Fourth of July, everyone. As I'm sure you can all hear, Happy Fourth of July. Before we begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what you think of the story if you've even seen it, because it's pretty inaccessible, especially this era of Doctor Who. Let's review parts 3 through 6, which is the last 4 episodes of this story, because yesterday I did 1 and 2. Let's get right into it. This basically starts up where the first third kind of ended, or more specifically, it's sort of like we learn more about the plot, and but of course with the plot, that means that we're gonna see a lot more practical effects, and 1965 practical effects. These 1965 practical effects are actually horrendous. The bumblebee type aliens, which are called Menoptera, I remember that now, are literally like people in this furry suit, as I mentioned before, and it's all clunky. They have all makeup from the nose up, then it's literally just mouth with some stripes down here, and it's so like weird and hard to watch because they have these weird kind of speech patterns. I suppose that's chalked up to the acting. They do these weird kind of dance things with their hands when they're not talking, like this NPC kind of stand. It's really weird. It's like this conductor style move, like sway. It's so weird, and of course the Zarbi are not much better. They're literally just giant ants with human legs, which is less cringe and more just creepy. And of course their beeping and are not helping at all. But that's enough complaining. Let's get into the actual plot. We learn slowly that we learn throughout these episodes that the Menoptera and the Zarbi actually used to live in harmony together. We learn that the Zarbi actually aren't like intelligent sentient species. They're not an intelligent sentient species. So they're being taken advantage of by this dark force that actually invaded the planet and turned the Zarbi against the Menoptera, which is a pretty interesting turn. Kind of like a base under siege, but on a weird, creepy planet. So that's a weird, creepy, like, alien planet. So that's fun. What else is there really to say about this front? Not much, really. Ian kind of splits off with a female Menoptera, who for some reason calls him Huron. I don't know if they explained very well why she calls him Huron. I might have missed it. But either way, it's just one of the myriad weird things going on in this story, so I'm not sure I can really complain about it that much. Vicky and the Doctor are kind of together, which is really lucky because like the actors William Hartnell and Maureen O'Brien, they play off each other really well. They have really good chemistry, which is always a good thing in any kind of TV show, movie, anything with actors really. Now, back on the special effects front, people commonly refer to the '60s era of television of Doctor Who TV as like more of a theater play than an actual kind of TV show. They even called it teleplays back then. I did not know that. I did some research after I finished it, and I found that pretty interesting. I also noted it's also worth noting that this story was so like there's so much like behind the scenes hell going on behind that. Like William Russell, the actor for Ian, he decided that's it, screw it, I'm done with this show, and like a few stories down the line, Ian and Barbara left. So I think that really shows how drastic the problems behind production was. I'm trying to remember my train of thought here. Sorry. Ian and his Menoptera companion, they basically actually go like underground, and they discover this last-minute addition of aliens called Optera. Okay, now Optera, Menoptera, Optera. The similarities in those names are going to be important later. But the Doctor's basically being forced by the dark force that I mentioned earlier, pun intended, named Animus, who is forcing, again, pun intended, the Doctor to basically work for them by using his astral map from the TARDIS to sort of, give them information on the supposed Menoptera invasion. While Barbara really does not do much for this. It's so forgettable what she's even doing in this story. I don't remember. I don't think it's even worth mentioning if I did, because it's just nothing actually happened with her. She went nowhere, so to speak, in the story. The Doctor and Vicky basically work together the whole time, trying to use their astromap as a sort of radio with the Menoptera spearhead or forces. And in the end, it's revealed that they're basically forced to give information to the Zarbi and Animus about them. So now that they're actually mentally prepared to defend against or kill those Menoptera, the Doctor and Vicky have to race to sort of warn them like, hey, never mind, they're coming for you. Your weapons are useless. Get out while you still can. But of course, by then it's way too late. They're already landing, and it makes for a little subplot that the remaining Menoptera are kind of grieving that their friends are gonna die. Back to Ian and his Menoptera friend. His Menoptera, or they actually meet these little Optera, which are so weird. They jump in these little weird they kind of jump in like this over-exaggerated movements. They make these weird over-exaggerated movements and it's just so annoying watching them, and the way they deliver things, you say like maybe 5 words at once, 5-second dramatic pause, 2 words, 10-second dramatic pause, and then of course the pauses between syllables in a word. It's literally infuriating. And the fact that they act like 2 and 3-year-olds who don't understand anything, and they explain things in a very like naive, sort of mundane way, it's really infuriating. And to be honest, as I said about the teleplays thing, this it's never more apparent than with this story. It literally plays like a school play. The special effects and acting were so bad, I was actually like embarrassed to watch this in front of other people, like my family, because I thought they would walk in and just see that. They'd think it was so weird. It was just so embarrassing. Like, it's just the fact that I'm a fan of this show. Luckily, this is probably a low in that particular era, and definitely the worst of the season. But that's all that's left of this story, really. But an interesting little factoid about the story, actually, is that the next story, which is called The Crusade, they knew, like, chances are they might not have been allowed to show that story in, like, Muslim countries. So they had to specifically make sure that this story didn't end on a cliffhanger. It just ended with them saving the day by destroying the Animus in the most ridiculous way possible. That is, shining light at him. Okay. Then just shows them regaining peace and escaping off in their TARDIS like they always do. That's all for today, and luckily I don't think I have to touch the story ever again. I give this like a 2 out of 5 stars, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.